So my story, just because you're probably not familiar with who I am and why I'm here, my name is Raj. So I went through this period of time where I got quite depressed and anxious and actually suicidal. But something inside me kept saying, yoga will save you, yoga will save you. But I had no idea what that meant. It's something inside me kept saying, yoga, 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 go to yoga. But I'd always say to myself, like, I would just wish I had the instructions. Somebody give me the instructions on how to live, I'll follow them. And then let's see how it goes, right? I kept trying to find yoga, and I moved to Nelson in a very traumatic kind of way. I got there, I went into the yoga teacher training because somebody kept telling me, just keep going to yoga, keep going to yoga. And then in our first module, it was the philosophy, and it was the Yoga Sutras. And the very first line in the Yoga Sutras is, Atha Yoga Anushasana. Now begins the instructions of yoga. And it blew my mind that these were the instructions I was looking for. And I started to follow the path, and I started to follow these instructions. And as I followed it, everything started changing and transforming, and my life was getting better. And when I didn't practice it, I saw my life go the other way and back to the way it used to be. And I became more and more confident that this was the way to go. Keep following these instructions. Keep following these instructions. Now, what's interesting is I was suicidal, I was all of these things, and it was something inside me saying, yoga will save you, and here I am today teaching yoga. And I'm sharing it, actually. It's not so much that I'm teaching it, I'm sharing it. I don't like to consider myself a yoga teacher, but perhaps more of a facilitator than anything else. As I kept training and practicing and finding actually different types of yoga, so I ended up actually at the Vipassana Meditation Center, and finding the teachings of the Buddha and so on. And it all started opening up, and I started following sort of this path that I wasn't sure if it was going to work or what. I kept following it. And then I realized that I was following a particular path, and it was a type of yoga. And so it just happened on October 3rd, which happened to be the solar eclipse, and around the time of my birthday even, that I realized that the path that I was following is called Karma Warrior Yoga. And it's not so much that it's my yoga, but I would say I've uncovered it. I found it again. And what that means is that there's been many karma warriors before me. There are karma warriors now, and there will be karma warriors after me. So I'm here to just share this path with you and to see if it resonates with you and to follow that. There's 3 pillars to this practice. So the first one is bravery. We must be brave, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know. At every moment, maybe, we've got an idea, but we don't know. So we must be brave. We must be brave to face it. And how do we become brave? We become brave because we have faith in the truth. We have faith in the truth, and we believe it all to be one, that there is no separation. And then the third pillar is that as we practice this, we begin to trust it. We trust in the process because we see the results, and now we can trust it. So these 3 pillars go together: bravery, faith in the truth, and that all is one, and that we trust the process. And it's represented by the lion as bravery, the rose as the faith and truth, and the all in oneness, and then the ego and trust in the process. And it's interesting, in my journey, I was getting these tattoos, and these tattoos now represent this Karma Warrior Yoga. Question for you all: what are the traits of a warrior? What does that mean when I say warrior to you? Integrity, nice. Fearlessness, excellent. Yeah. Softness, yes. Courage, yes. Selflessness, perseverance, excellent, right? So a warrior is not somebody that actually is fighting, is doing these things, right? A warrior is all of these things. A warrior does not fight, actually. The last resort for a warrior is to fight. And that is so far down the line for a warrior. A warrior will do everything else before fighting. A warrior practices ahimsa. Ahimsa means non-harming. And a warrior realizes this because the whole universe is non-harming, actually. Why is it non-harming, and why does a warrior realize this? Because the warrior understands that it's all one. There is no separation. In me is you, and you is me. And that's what happens with this warrior. So I love that, and I love that it resonates, right? When we say warrior, we get it. It's not a soldier, it's this warrior, and it's this innerness about this warrior that does that. And a warrior practices the spiritual practice, and a warrior takes the right action. So this is the karma. So the warrior takes the right action, and we try to understand then what is this right action. Another question for you then is, what is truth? What does that mean to you? So have faith in the truth. What does that mean? Knowing, yeah, some sort of understanding. Yeah. And how would we know?
By knowing yourself.
Knowing yourself. Yeah. What is it about truth? What is a truth that changes?
Not the truth.
Not the truth, right? A lie, an illusion. So everything in this universe is changing, right? And from the moment you've entered this room to this point right now, and as we progress, it's changing. You are changing. You are totally different. And not only are we different inside this room, but outside here in Salmon Arm, everything's changed. And not only Salmon Arm, everything else in the world has changed. And everything in the universe has changed. It is changing. But there is something that does not change. It stays the same. This is the truth. It is the essence, and this is what we have faith in. And we can then have this because the truth will not change. It will always be the truth. So the truth was the truth thousands of years ago when the Yoga Sutras were written, and it's the truth now. It's always the truth. It will not change. That's why you have faith in the truth, because it will not change. And then from here we understand that, okay, this essence is the truth, everything is changing, and then it's all one. We understand that it's all interconnected. And we can feel that, right? The air we're breathing in is, we need air, we need oxygen, we need water, we need sun. All of these things, we're not separate from it. We're part of it, it's part of it, right? We're all part of something too. It's all interconnected. And so we really gather this faith in it. So even myself, though, sometimes I lose a little faith, right? My old self shows up and says, no, it's not going to work out this way. And then the truth reveals itself and smacks me in the face. But then it wakens me up again and says, no, keep having faith. And the faith becomes stronger and stronger and stronger, such that then I can trust it, right? I can trust that the process is working, that everything I'm doing is going to work then, as long as I have this faith and I keep going. And so these are the pillars, and that's how they shine through. And so the practice is that of strength, so of physical fitness. Because if our body is fit, we can handle many things. And I'm sure you've all heard that your body is your temple. It's true. It makes a huge difference. The suffering we face is a lot to do with our body. And so as we can kind of transform it and bring it back in alignment, that suffering goes away. And it becomes easier and easier then to deal with life. And in particular, what we're trying to do when we're doing physical fitness is we want the suffering to go away so that it becomes easier to still the mind. Because when the mind is still, the truth will reveal itself. But as we know, the mind does not want to stay still. It wants to think about this and that and create all these stories and all these things. But if we can get it to still, the truth will reveal itself. And then it's all good. And part of this practice then, as we're taking care of ourselves physically in this fitness level, we also are mindful of the food then, the nutrition we're eating, and how we're eating it, how we're consuming it. And we start to view it not as some sort of drug, but as a tool. It fuels us. And so part of the diet is that we shift from eating very much a lot of carbs and sugar and stuff like that to more protein and more healthy fats. And we start switching that and mindful carbs. And the body transforms and it starts using these nutrients to build you and to give you that strength and that resilience to be that warrior that you already are. And then there's two other concepts. We have selfless service. So someone mentioned selflessness. Seva. So seva means selflessness, and you do it for other people. So whatever you do with the intention for other people. And what are we doing when we do that? We're overcoming the ego. We're overcoming the sense that it's just me, it's just I, and that I am separate. You are not separate. We are all one, and we are all interconnected. And if we observe the universe, this is what the universe is doing too. The universe is selfless. It's giving, 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 giving all the time. Give, give. The sun does not shine discriminately. It shines on everything. And so too we become this way, that it's for everybody. Everybody shares in this. And then we find peace there, and we find gratitude, and we find all of that within ourselves. And this is the practice. And we also do not attach. And I'm sure you guys have heard lots about attachments and non-attachment. Do not attach. In particular, what do we not attach to? We do not attach to the outcome. So Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says that we have no right to the fruits or the rewards of our actions. but we have all the right to the work. Do it. Just do it, and do it selflessly, and don't worry. It takes care of itself. It all comes back to you. It all comes in that way. But don't expect that. Don't do that, because there is no time, and it'll just appear at some point for you. And your whole life will change as you take this perspective. And I'm sure many of you already are, or doing bits and pieces of this. And so even this practice, it's not meant to say that this is the path that you should all choose. And there's no other path, as some people will say. Nope, this is one path. This is the path that I have uncovered. And it's been here all the time. Maybe you'll take pieces of it. Maybe you'll just take the pillars and do what you will with it. Maybe you'll take the physical fitness, maybe you'll do this, maybe you'll do that. All good. But I'm going to share with you these components and how I practice it. And if you'd like, you can practice it the same way as me, but you can just take it and use it for however you would like to. How does that sound?
Yeah.